Welcome into the Davis Football Show, everyone. My name is Nick Davis, and we're here with my brother Rob in the Davis Studios. Thank you so much for listening today. We are going to be covering all things football for you sports fans. This is the DFF. All right, Rob, here we are back again. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Pretty good. You know what week it is?
It's training camp week.
Training camp week. That's what all of us football fans really look forward to, the end of July. Typically, it's under different circumstances.
Yeah, it's definitely different than past years.
Yeah, it's one great year for us to start up this podcast. It was a pretty interesting offseason. We had a lot more to talk about than usual. Instead of all the contracts and signings, we ended up talking about all the challenges that are upcoming this year. And that's like the NFL season, starting off with the preseason. That's what we're going to start the show off with today.
Let's do it.
So there has been it actually isn't 100% official yet, but it sounds like at first it was proposed that we reduce the preseason games from 4 down to 2, which, in my opinion, should have happened a long time ago. But now they're saying to just eliminate the preseason games altogether. Is that right?
Yeah. I think that's the smartest move because honestly, preseason games aren't that important as people think. So I mean, why even run the risk of getting a lot of people sick when we don't really have to?
Yeah, well, it's not that important. I mean, I'm gonna challenge you a little bit here. I think it's not that important for a guy like Patrick Mahomes, right? Or any of the starters who were there last year. But for the rookies coming in, do you know how big of a deal that is to them?
Okay, exactly. But how many players playing in that preseason game is gonna impact this season?
True, yeah, they might not be, a Philip Lindsay. They may not be that undrafted free agent that ends up going on a run to help carry their team to win after win. But some of these guys may lose opportunities that the preseason games awarded them.
Yeah, that's true. But if a rookie's really going to stand out, he's going to stand out during the regular season anyway and during practice. So I feel like the coaches got an idea, what undrafted rookies and what low drafted rookies are going to make the team or not. So I mean, I don't think it's worth running a risk to have all those players meet up and play and risk getting each other sick just for undrafted rookies that's going to make a few good plays during the season.
Right, yeah, I do see that. I would think, and I'm sure they're going to have practices and they're going to do scrimmages within themselves and maybe some other teams. They're really going to test all these guys to get the best evaluations possible. But I just wonder, would it have been possible to shut down your starters for the preseason and just to operate a 40-man roster during a preseason game to just get some live looks?
Yeah, but then a couple of days later, they're going to practice with the whole team with the starters. So what if one guy got and just spreads it to the rest of the team?
Saying that they obtained it through the game, you're saying? They're all going to be practicing with the team whether they play the preseason game or not.
Yeah, but I mean, what if a player from one team got it and they give it to this team and then is running through this team?
Yeah, it's a constant concern throughout the league and throughout every team, and I think it's inevitable that players throughout this season are going to pop positive. It's just a matter of frequency.
Yeah, I think it was 58 players tested positive
in the initial testing, right?
Yeah,
And I think that those, I mean, you have the details on what the league is looking for because they originally didn't put out anything, and it left a lot of players up in the air on what the plan was, and they were fishing for structure. Like they were going to social media, pressing the league for structure, right?
yeah,
And the league finally came out and released that statement. Did you want to go over that?
yeah. So at first they didn't really give out no guidelines of how they're gonna keep the players safe, but and then on Twitter, all the players were tweeting about it. They wanted a plan how they're gonna keep them and their families safe. So the NFL released a memo saying pretty much like the days they're gonna be testing. They're gonna be testing daily for the first. I'm not sure. I don't have it in front of me right now, but a certain number of days are going to test every day, and if a certain amount come back negative, they're going to do less testing you know, as the more negative tests that they get. So at least there's a
Right,
plan now. So
and they're going to test the whole organization in the form of tiers. So like the organization is going to be divided into tiers, and those tiers are going to be tested at different frequencies. Um, and then there's of course rules regarding players must then self quarantine at their residence or a hotel before reporting to their next test. So there's going to be quarantine periods throughout these tests, and during the periods, players must require to attend virtual meetings or training. So they're still going to be held accountable and responsible to be involved if they are quarantined or out of the physical contact of everybody else.
yeah, yeah. Like once you test positive, you got to definitely quarantine. You can't really start training camp. So I mean, I'm trying to read the memo right now. Give me a minute.
and and the club, if they exceed 5% among players in the tiers, they then they during any 2 week period they shut down, or how does
Yeah.
they go on like a hibernation, a temporary hibernation. I don't know. It's pretty unique
Oh,
with
yeah. It's pretty difficult to understand. I'm trying to read it right now.
yeah. It's definitely in the typical statement jargon that allows it to be manipulative, and basically interpreted in whichever way you want. Not whatever way, but I should say a number of different ways, right?
Yeah.
It isn't 100% clear cut and dry. So yeah, it should be interesting, and it should raise, and I think the NFL released this statement with the knowledge of the positive tests are going to come back. It's just the frequency. They don't want an entire club infected and continuing to operate as normal. So
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think of the idea of the NFL goes what the NBA is doing and do like a bubble scenario?
there's no way they would be able to bubble the league. It's just too big. The NFL is just much bigger than the NBA, just with the size team and the number of teams. I just don't think that they'll be able to bubble it in the way that the NBA has. I think it's difficult to bubble the number of NBA teams out there. I mean, it's something that I just don't think is possible with the size of the NFL. Now, if they wanted to restructure like the games, like say you bubble the AFC North in Baltimore or Cleveland, and you have those four teams in two hotels, and they only play each other, and you move throughout a season that way. The best team in each division then re-bubbles in, in conference bubbles, and you play tournaments that way to find out who the winner of the Super Bowl is. I can see something like that happening, in having a number of different bubbles throughout the country, but there's no way you can put all 32 teams in one spot.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about like all 32 teams in one spot. I'm talking about like each team bubble in their own city. I mean, like, where they're at.
I see what you're saying. So they're kind of like some of the teams have off-site training camps, kind of like that, where they go to like a university and hunker down and they just work and no contact with family or anything like that.
Yeah, like each team quarantine within itself, and then during like when a game come around, you go straight from your own bubble to the plane to the airport or whatever,
Yeah,
where you stay quarantined.
I can see that being more effective as far as the spread than what they're currently going to try to do. So far, again, it's forever changing, and they could end up going to a system like that. But I just see how many players, again, with the teams being so large, a number of players not being okay with just distancing themselves from society for so long,
Yeah, I understand that too. Like, I mean, yes, being in a bubble for like the whole NFL season, that's a long time. The NBA, I think, is like 2.5 months they're gonna be in their bubble. Man, what's the NFL season? 6-7 months?
Yeah, the NFL season is. I think it'll be like 5.5 with playoffs.
Yeah. So there's no way they're gonna be able to be in a bubble for that long. But I mean, I think they just gotta start the season and see how many positive tests they get back. I feel like if they get a lot of positive tests, then maybe they got to change it up for the rest of the season. But I mean, you never really know until you try it. But this virus, it changes weekly. So
right. And my like large concern will be like depending on where the games are played. Like some cities are clearly higher risk than others. So. Like I believe we were speaking before on MetLife Stadium. Like what's the plan there in Jersey?
Oh yeah, there's not allowing. They said no games until further notice. So either
and that's mandated by the state.
Yeah, by the state.
Yeah, so if Giants and the Jets essentially have 0 home games all year. Like, where are they going to play their home games at? And if it's not in the New York, Jersey area, where is it going to be? And is it truly going to be a home game? Like, they're going to be the San Diego Chargers 2.0 or the LA Chargers 2.0.
Yeah, and I feel like that's not the only state that's going to do that. I know California, they just canceled all high school sports until the fall. Until the spring. So I feel like once those days come around, like the game days come around, like I don't think a lot of states are going to allow games to be played, especially in like the hotspot cities.
And it's crazy because LA just has that new stadium that I know everyone has been so excited to get into. But man, I don't even know if that construction is completed. Like I know it was set to be completed, but with COVID and everything, I don't know. Is it done?
I'm not sure. I assume it is because I feel like before,
they were definitely on pace.
Yeah, because they're probably definitely done with it by now, or very close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm pretty sure COVID didn't really stop like construction and all that, but
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
I
I mean,
can. I can see the 49ers having issues. And again, it's just due to the state more
a
so
lot,
than
yeah, a lot of states, yeah, California, Texas, Florida.
yeah. And they're saying the states not no games to be played, and they're not even talking about fanless games. Like they're just talking games in general. Like they don't it's not a matter of filling the stadium. It's just a matter of games being played, right?
Yeah, they're talking about not even like empty stadiums. They're talking about just being there.
Yeah, just no games. Period. Like even if no one's in the stands, like they're not trying to play the games. Period. I see Seattle being that way too. I know Washington was pretty high risk there originally, and yeah, and like you said, like the Florida teams, and man, how what would you ever think Tom Brady's career would end like this?
Yeah, I don't know. You never know. I mean, games aren't until a couple months from now. We could have a whole different new states that are hotspots.
Yeah, true. You're absolutely right about that.
Pretty much just wait and see. Pretty much.
Yeah, play it day by day, man. And I remember the draft all being canceled and rearranged, and how we were talking about going to the draft out there in Vegas, and I remember man, football is so lucky to be going through this now, because by the time the season starts, it'll all be cleared up, and here we are, and it's not cleared up. So
Yep.
it's kind of unrealistic to look at the start of the season, which is only 6 weeks away. 6 weeks away, and to feel it's going to be cleaned up by then, because it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I know. I seen today they moved the roster size for training camp to 80 people. Was it more or less than that before?
I believe it was more. I think it was over 90.
Right? Yeah, pretty sure it was more. So they cut the roster size.
Yeah, just to limit a few more people. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because there's not going to be no preseason games. There's no point.
Right. Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, there's never been a better advantage for veteran players. And when I say veteran players, I don't mean like the older players. I just mean the players who have been in the league previously to this year in getting some of those roster spots. I think a lot of rookies are going to be out of an opportunity simply because of the lack of exposure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the teams that brought back the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator got a huge advantage over.
Yeah, right. Yep, you're absolutely right. Teams that have new coaching staffs, such as the Dallas Cowboys, who everyone is so high on, which I don't understand why. It's going to be a real challenge.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams like that, like your Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, why are the teams? Hold on, real quick. Let's press the pause button on the Bucks right now. Let's talk about the Cowboys real quick. Why is everyone so high on them this year, knowing that they got a new coach coming in? They seem to be in shambles. Like, do they believe in Dak? Do they not believe in Dak?
I feel like they believe in Dak to a point, but it's just once you pay that quarterback, once you pay that quarterback that much money, he has to carry. And they saw last year he was not able to carry towards the end of the year. So I think that's why they're hesitant on giving him that much money.
And in his defense, like, they offered him money. They just didn't offer him kind of money he was looking to make.
Yeah, it's the Cowboys' fault. They the one that didn't want to pay him at first. They could have easily last offseason they could have easily got him for $30 million per year, easily. But they didn't want to pay him. They thought they were going to get him for cheaper, and it backfired.
Yeah, true. If they were proactive, they definitely could have. Yep.
But now, honestly, I think the Cowboys still got the leverage over Dak right now because he's playing on his franchise tag, and next offseason, who's going to pay him that much money? What team?
Yeah, true.
So
he needs to completely ball in order to get close to what the kind of money he's asking for, and I don't think that. I just don't see them having a stellar year. Like, I don't see them being better than 8-8 again. You know.
I can see him winning the division. I see him having a pretty good year. But
that's why we're having this whole conversation.
I mean, I feel like the division is probably the worst in the league.
No. Hold on.
What division's worse than the NFC East?
The AFC South. Who's the best team in the AFC South?
Texans?
The Texans? Really? Because I think the Titans.
I mean, they were both playoff teams last year.
Bill O'Brien don't know what he's doing.
He had a 24-point lead in Arrowhead
with Hopkins.
Oh yeah, with Hopkins.
You don't got him no more.
Okay. I mean, their receiving core is still not bad. They got some players if they stay healthy.
24-point lead and blew it.
They blew it.
I feel like every episode we just get on some Bill O'Brien rant.
You hate on Bill O'Brien.
I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, me too. As a GM, he's not, but I mean, they got players on the team. When the season starts, it's coaching, not GMing.
I'm a big fan of Deshaun and everything that he stands for.
That don't seem like it.
All right, so NFL training camp start this week. Rookies going first, and then QBs and the injured, and then full team by the end of the week. Come next week, Monday, Rob, we're going to be full go. What training camp would you love to be like a fly on the wall on?
Not counting the Ravens?
Yeah, of course. Leave your favorite team, because I would love to be in Hallis Hall down there in Chicago, but don't put your favorite team in.
Man, that's a hard question. If I would have to pick one team, it would probably be the Browns.
I was thinking them too. Like, what's the Mayfield-Stefanski relationship like?
Yeah, I want to see how that's going because, I mean, that's one of the most talented teams in the NFL. If they really get going, that's a problem.
Yeah, true. Yep. And the other team I was thinking of is the Green Bay Packers. Like, how does Rodgers feel about Love? And then, they had a pretty successful year one, under Matt LaFleur, but can they duplicate that? Like, a lot like Matt Nagy's successful first year, they fell off a little bit. Or is there going to be a fall off? Or is Rodgers not going to let it fail? And their defense was playing lights out. Does that defense play that good again? They got a running back issue. Like, you got Jones on his last year, but you got a rookie back there. Like, does he just take over? Like, is there going to be animosity there? And then like, I hear Rodgers is all pissed off about his Madden rating. Like, is he going to just go lights out and go crazy? Like, I would love to be in that locker room to see what is going on.
Do you just say someone's going to take over Aaron Jones' spot?
Yeah. They drafted a running back, was it third round? And he's supposedly like a big like bruiser, like Derrick Henry. And I think that's like LaFleur's like model. He wants to run the ball and take and manage the game more so than let Rodgers win the games.
Man, Aaron Jones is a top 5 running back in the league. He's not going to just.
I I know his success, and I know, I know the year he just had last year too. But with that being said, he's going to look for that cheddar, and if he has another good year, then I don't think the Packers give him that cheddar.
Oh, you mean like resign? I thought you meant like take over, like starting this year, like.
No. I didn't mean like get benched for this rookie. I'm just saying like they got this. If Jones ball out again, I don't think the Packers pay him that money, and I just think they go with the young rookie that they drafted a year ago. And they move on. But is there going to be friction there because of all of that? Because the writing's on the wall. Jones is essentially playing for his next contract that isn't going to be in Green Bay. So he's going to try to ball, but do they kind of start feeding this rookie to give him the reps because they know he's the future? I don't know. Let's see.
No, I feel like Aaron Jones too good. He's not gonna lose no time to a third round running back at all. But I mean, I feel like it depends if they're winning or losing. If they start losing, I mean, maybe they'll trade Aaron Jones, or maybe they'll trade Rodgers this offseason. You never know, because I feel like they didn't really help improve. They didn't really improve the team much from last year. So I don't know. I feel like if they start off on a losing record, they might trade both of them.
Yeah, you're right about that. That can very well be that way. Let's shift to back to the Browns real quick. Myles Garrett, he got a new deal done.
He did. He got a lot of money.
Yeah, like what do you think about that?
I mean, he's one of the best pass rushers in the league. He's the highest defensive player now, is he?
Yep, and 30 and a half sacks so far in his career.
Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing player. He deserves the money.
Even with the whole Mason Rudolph smashing his helmet situation.
What does that got to do with anything?
A character flaw? Was it a character flaw? Is it?
Didn't Mason Rudolph start it?
Yeah, but I mean, do you? Are we in elementary school right now? Are we going to point the finger on who started the fight?
I mean, if someone rips off my helmet, I mean, I don't see a big. If I hit him, I mean, he started it. Myles Garrett finished it.
Yeah, I see. Yep, okay. That's a very good way of putting it.
Yeah, I don't see why he don't. I mean, he put in the work. I don't see why he shouldn't get his money.
Yeah, I am on that page too. I'm just playing a little devil's advocate there. I think that over the course of his career, all being with Cleveland, they know the kind of person he is, and ultimately, I'm not in the room and not in that decision making, but I feel like the decision makers are real up close and personal and know him very well as a person, and they made the correct decision for him and for them and for the future of Cleveland. But yeah, he's elite, man. He's top notch. It's at a premium position.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think they dropped the ball not going another lineman? I mean, they had opportunities to go, back to back, like, instead of going Baker or Ward, like they could have went another lineman.
Yeah, they could have, but you're talking about the 2018 draft?
They had what? Bradley Chubb there at 4?
And the 2018 draft you're talking about?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They could have took Saquon.
Yeah, they could.
And then Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I figured they were going to take Saquon and take whatever quarterbacks left at 4.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Yeah, and if Baker was gone, of course, there was Josh Allen and, Darnold. Someone was going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's still early. Baker's still young. So, I mean, we can't really tell if he's a bust or not, if they should do something else. Because, I mean, he played good his rookie year.
Yeah. Again, I really think coaching and the instability of the whole thing does affect his growth and development.
Yeah, Freddie Kitchens should have never been a head coach.
Yeah, what was that? That was a losing decision.
Yeah, that was a horrible choice. He was not ready to be a head coach.
Yeah. Speaking of people getting their money, what do you think about Derrick Henry? Is that too much for a running back?
So what you're saying about Bill O'Brien, the Texans are doing just as bad. They're doing horrible decisions.
Wait, the Texans or the Titans?
The Titans are just as bad as the Texans, I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
With signing people.
I'm not saying they're not.
What do you think about Derrick Henry and Tannehill?
I just asked you first.
I mean, I think the only reason they signed Tannehill because they was like, oh, we got to use the franchise tag on Derrick Henry. So they gave Tannehill all his money he should not have got. Just because I thought they were going to give the franchise tag to Derrick Henry, and then they ended up signing Derrick Henry to that big contract. So, I mean, that's their future for now, Tannehill and Henry, with all that money. So, I mean, I hope it's worth it. I don't see it, though.
And two guys had 2 good years simultaneously, and you think it's magic when it's typically not always.
Not even 2 good years. Tannehill played 8 games?
Yeah, the two good runs just so happened to match up together and made them go on a little streak into the playoffs. Give them credit, they went in and bullied 2 powerhouses
They did.
to get to the AFC Championship. But overall, I don't think that that those 2 were the guys, and they're great players. Don't get me wrong. They're in the league. I'm not, and Derrick Henry is a freak. But for that kind of money, who else is on the market?
Yeah, they definitely overpaid both of them, and I mean we're gonna see this year when they go 5-10.
You think it'll be that bad?
I remember not 5-10, maybe like 7-9. I don't think they're making the playoffs. No way.
All right, let's jump over to Chris Jones.
He got paid too.
Yeah, defensive lineman for the Super Bowl champions Kansas City Chiefs, and I remember seeing a tweet. I think it was a tweet of Patrick Mahomes saying he left some on the table for him.
Yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure after Mahomes got his contract, that's what he texted Chris Jones. Something like, I left some on the table for you.
Basically, he took less money that he could have gotten for the team to sign good players and continuing to keep great players around Mahomes and on the team. Chris Jones, obviously one of the best defensive linemen in the game, and he definitely balled out and deserves, the money. But do you, he has had some injuries. Do you think the money's worth it?
It's kind of hard to tell now, because I mean he's a great player and he deserves that money. He's a big part of that defense. Because without him, I mean it would just get ran through, honestly. But after this year, they got, I'm pretty sure D Ford's a free agent, or his contract's up, the pass rusher, and Kelsey's contract's up too, so they're going to definitely lose one of those players. So, I mean, is one of those players more important than Chris Jones? I definitely think so.
Yeah. I think, Chris Jones is great. And I think every team needs a strong interior D lineman to allow the pass rushers to be successful. You know what I mean? Like a pass rusher alone can't get it all done. They do need the interior to be a dominating force in order for them to really tee off the tackles. So you see it with any successful D line or pass rusher. There is typically a Robin to their Batman, and Chris Jones is that Robin to those other guys. And I think Kansas City's hoping maybe if we lock him down, we can draft a D line, a edge rusher to go after the quarterback. But I mean, I personally believe it can be the other way around. You can find the Robin in the later rounds to fill in there in the interior. But those outside edge rushers are premium players.
Yeah, the Chiefs, they got a lot of work to do working around those contracts, because I know Kendall Fuller, his contract's coming up. Tyrann Mathieu, his contract's coming up. I don't know who they're gonna keep. It just all depends if they draft good.
No, I think Fuller's on Washington now. I think that they released them mainly because of these contracts. They know that they couldn't, make it work.
What's the corner they brought back? Oh yeah, you're right. He's on Washington. Who am I thinking of? They just signed a corner. But yeah.
Was it Breeland was the one with the issue, right?
Oh yeah, might have been Breeland that came back, but yeah, Breeland, Tyrann Mathieu, Kelsey, they got a lot of everyone's not gonna be able to stay. I know Sammy Watkins, he's gonna be gone for sure, because I don't even be able to afford him.
Yep, and even the other safety too, Thornhill.
Yeah, Thornhill too.
Yeah, they're gonna run into some issues. Yeah, it's crazy to think the Patriots were so successful for so long.
Oh yeah, the Patriots, and that's just a whole different front office, the way they run stuff.
Yeah, speaking of the Patriots, is Antonio Brown going to go back there?
I mean, he just retired again officially on his Twitter, but this is the third time he did, so I don't know how serious to take it. I'm not taking it that serious because he's still young. I mean, he could definitely still be an impact in the NFL on a contender. So I mean, you just gotta.
I mean, is it official when you just put it on IG on the gram?
It's I mean, it's some sort of official. I don't think he signed like the paperwork either. Any of the times he retired.
Yeah, like it's a process with the NFL that you need to go through to officially retire. It's not just you. I like to compare it to a kid throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah, I mean, you could say you're retired, but you're not really officially retired. But even if you do like sign the papers, you can still come back. You can still come back to the league.
Yeah, even that doesn't even seal it up and throw it away.
Yeah, but I feel like he's definitely not going to stay retired. He's definitely coming back. I feel like he just did that to take some of the spotlight off him, because I feel like every time he did something, everyone's always talking about him coming back. Especially he's been working out with Russell Wilson a lot, and every time it works out with him, people think he's coming back. So I mean, by saying this, I think he's just gonna work on himself and then see how the season goes. He could probably jump on the team and contribute.
Do you think it'll be smart for him to stay out this year just because of all the uncertainty and risks?
For his health, it'll be, or him. I don't know, like what family members he live with, but like it'll be safe for him. But I don't think he will. I think he's definitely gonna play this year if the season goes how we're planning on it going.
Right, yeah, man. I really hope that everything goes as planned. Like we need football. These baseball and soccer games just aren't the same, right?
Yeah, nah, not at all.
And and they're not like it's not even close. Like the NFL is by far the king in the sports world, and it's not that's not just me being a fan saying that. Like go look at the ratings, go look at the statistics. Like the NFL runs the show, and despite all of everything going on, they're still printing so much cash.
Yeah, they're definitely number one, but I mean, the more players and staff you gotta handle, the harder it gets. So, like, they can't bubble how the NBA is. They can't buy an island like the UFC. So, I mean, it's gonna be tough for them. It's gonna be toughest for them compared to any other sport.
Oh, they could definitely buy the island. They just
Oh yeah, of course they could buy the island.
Many people there.
Yeah, of course they could buy the island, but they're not gonna play all the games on the island. Like the UFC,
Right,
I'm pretty sure
exactly.
Dana White bought an island to have the UFC games on, or the UFC fights at, or something like that.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just too massive of an operation, and the overhead throughout the whole thing comes higher risk. Yeah, like any business, there's risk involved. And, I could say, credit to the NFL, differ than some of the other leagues is like they just, they're operating day by day and they're making decisions day by day. And yeah, is it a little slow? Maybe, and they're getting a little heat from the players because of it. But overall, I think that they're not, necessarily, slow or concerned about what the outside public thinks. Like they're going to make decisions that are best for the players and the networks and the business as a whole, and whatever's best for the NFL, they're going to move forward and do.
Yeah, they got to do what's best for their business, also while trying to keep their employees and their people safe. So, I mean, that's what they got to balance.
Yeah. Well, again, as always, I can't stress enough how much Rob and I both thank everybody for listening. We do appreciate this, and we, really feel that, these are only going to get funner as the season moves on. Like it is, we've really enjoyed these episodes, and they've only been covering, the off season noise, right? I mean, just wait until we actually get some games and some fantasy and some bets and some actual controversies to talk about. It's going to be real exciting, and I really can't wait. I hope you feel like my passion and the energy from training camp week, because that is what it's all about. The two-a-days, the Oklahomas. Although I think those are illegal these days, right?
In high school, they're definitely illegal.
You're not able to abuse the children the way we were growing up. But
oh yeah, the drills we used to do, they cannot do those now.
Yeah.
What's that one called? Where a person is standing in the middle, and people they just run at them. Bull in the ring.
Bull in the ring, yeah. Man. Hey, shout out to if our high school coaches are listening to this, Pasolano, Porter, we love you guys, man. You guys are true mentors, leadership that really instilled values in all of us, and I'm sure I speak for our entire team down there in Little Allenby Shepherd. So
a lot of memories.
I know, right? Great ones. Remember when Pasolano discovered the bleachers? And then called them cobras just because we were going back and forth like a snake.
Yep.
With cleats on, we were. Man. Well, Davis Football Show is our Instagram, our YouTube channel. Please go ahead, like, subscribe, scroll up. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, like most of you are, please scroll up on the episode, and down at the bottom, it's going to be a rating. We've had so many reviews so far, more than expected, really. and they're all 5 stars. And we can't thank you all enough who already left a review. But please, if you haven't yet, go ahead and score how you like and leave us a review. And trust me, we are not afraid of feedback and criticism. And we, Rob and I both are very humbled to the point where we are just trying to do our best to put out the best content. So whatever we can do to improve the content, let us know, and we will definitely try to incorporate that as we move into the season, because the 2020 season is here. Pads are being put on
this week.
Have a great night. Thank you.